Now then, this Mini I've had for about a year now. All I've done really, blackout trims, badges. I've bought a set of wheels but I haven't fitted them yet. But I have just had a big delivery from SMPS 2012, so hopefully this isn't going to look as hairdressery anymore, because it does a bit at the moment, doesn't it? So let's go take a look. Yep, that's right, I've teamed up with SMPS 2012 to get this Mini looking a bit better for my upcoming trip to the Nürburgring. If you've been living under a rock and you don't know who SMPS 2012 are, they're an aftermarket parts supplier for all things Mini. But they do also stock certain OEM bits on their site too. Everything that I'm about to unbox and fit to the car is available off their website, apart from the rear seat delete. And if you want to buy anything from them, make sure you use my code lookship at the checkout to get yourself a little discount. Now, as you can probably tell, there are quite a few things to fit onto this car today, including the Pro Diffuser, which comes with the JCW Pro Corners too. In this little box, I believe there are some side markers from a facelifted car which look so much nicer than the ones I have fitted on mine at the moment. And there are another couple of small items which I'll throw on the car at some point during the video as well. But under all of this packaging is a spoiler, and it's not any old spoiler, it's a carbon fibre. So I wasn't actually thinking of getting an aftermarket spoiler because I don't really mind the look of the OEM one. However, because the dream team at SMPS are a pair of legends, they sent me a message over asking if I wanted a mega cheap one. It's got a little bit of superficial damage, but that's nothing a bit of vinyl wrap can't fix. Plus, it'll tie in with the chili red roof a lot better too once I get a colour match, but for the time being, I'll be throwing it onto the car as it is. After demolishing some of the free chocolate, which is banging by the way, it was time to make a start. But if you've tuned into the last Mini video, you'll know that I fitted a roll cage into the car. Along with the roll cage, I actually fitted the first little aesthetic upgrade from this delivery of parts because, well, I was too impatient to wait until now. These carbon fibre seat back covers were something I knew I had to have as soon as I saw them. I was never planning on getting rid of the original seats, so I thought, why not make them look a little bit nicer, and I think these covers do that perfectly. There's nothing difficult about fitting these either. You literally just peel off the 3M tape and stick them onto the back of the seat. It's a nice easy mod. Next up are the side markers. Now, I'm not a fan of the ones I have fitted to the car from factory. The clear lens makes me want to hurl. So these LCI upgrades are really going to improve the look of things. It is a little bit frightening how you can just take them off. You don't need any tools at all, which is ideal if you're a little smack rat looking to flip second-hand Mini parts for your next hit, I guess, but not ideal if you're on the receiving end of a theft. Anyway, if you're like me and you're switching out the old halogen bulbs from the pre-LCI units for LEDs, you will have to code them in, and to do that, the easiest way is with BIMA code. If you want a full video explaining how to do this, then let me know in the comments. BIMA code has been updated, so a few videos on YouTube are outdated now, but it really isn't rocket science, so you should be able to just figure it out for yourself. Next up is the cheapest part, which is probably the most useful, to be honest. Now, I have the armrest fitted in this Mini, but my phone is too big to actually fit in there, and if you put it in any of the other spots like the glove box, door compartments, or this little bit behind the cup holders, it just rattles around and does me bloody head in. So I usually just wedge it into this gap in the passenger seat, but SMPS have a solution for this, and it's these little storage compartments which slide into the void where your door handles are, and they are exactly the right size for a modern smartphone. Ideal if you don't have zip-up pockets and you don't want to worry about losing your phone under the seat all of the time. Would definitely recommend these. After that, I swapped out the puddle lights for some John Cooper Works ones. Again, it's a super simple thing to do, even if you're not very good with your hands, but they look really smart. Right, now one of the things that I wanted to do in the back of the Mini was sort out that. Where the rear bench used to be, there's now just a big old void, and there's cables and that down there which I don't really want to be mucking about with because we've got fuel pump and we've got seat belt sensors and all sorts, so I don't want to take any of that stuff out. But there is a solution. Well, there's two actually. First one being I could have done a bit of bit of cardboarded design and made a template out and cut it myself with a bit of board and carpeted it. Second option, being a bit easier, even though it's the more expensive one, buy the ready-made one. See, SW Motorsport, it's actually the people who fabricated this cage, so they know what they're doing. I'm going to stick that in now. Let's see what the fitment's like. There we go, she's in. Needs a bit of a hoover, actually came like that. The fitment, pretty good. Obviously you've got the lugs where your bench clips into, right at the very front. Then you've got this little bracket where your seats slide into and bolt in. Nothing really can do about that unless you want to grind it off, but I do fancy putting the seats back into this at some point. It's just for the Nürburgring trip. So, on to the next thing. Right, now I'm on to the bigger and better parts, starting with the carbon spoiler. Yes, I am a chav at heart, and no, I don't have a graph showing you if it is actually functional aero, but it's going on anyway. It's really not that big of a job. You've got to remove some trim from either side of the OEM spoiler, then I just laid a couple of towels down on the roof in case anything came loose and I dropped it on it. Then you've got 7 bolts to take out, one either side where you remove that black trim from, and then there are 5 inside of the boot under these little rubber grommets. Try your best not to drop any bolts into the boot lid like I did, otherwise you'll have to fish them out with something magnetic. But once all the bolts are out, you just need to pull the spoiler free. It is a little bit tight, but you've just got to trust me and go for it. Right, now it's time to grab the new 𝙁𝘼𝙊𝙆 spoiler and pop it on. Or at least I thought it was anyway. I didn't realise I had to remove the black plastic that was underneath the OEM spoiler. So we'll have to get that out of the way first, but it's only held in with 3 bolts and a couple of clips, so it wasn't long before I got it off. After a quick clean to stop us from scratching any 𝙁𝘼𝙊𝙆 or paintwork, it was time to throw in the first couple of bolts, starting with the ones either side. And the good thing about this spoiler is that it uses all of the OEM bolt holes, so there's no drilling required. Once the side ones are in, you've got to refit the remaining 5 inside the boot, and the bolts are super short. So I'll give you a little pro tip: if your bolt keeps sliding down the socket, just pop some styrofoam or a nut into the bottom of the socket first, and then put the bolt back in. Voila. I'm not just a pretty face, you know. I actually do this shit for a living, believe it or not. And once they were all back in, I just stood there and deliberated about whether I liked it or not. By itself, I think it looks really good, and it did take me a couple of days to adjust to it, but I quite like it now. I think the overall stance of the car doesn't really do it any favours, but once the suspension's on and the new wheels are fitted, then I'm sure it'll all tie together and look really good. Now then, you can see the weather's taking a bit of a turn for the worse. I'm doing this on a different day. We're going to get the diffuser fitted. I've whacked some bricks under the rear tyres because I have a gravel driveway. Can't really jack off there. Just going to jump in, get it sat on those, just to give me a little bit more clearance so I can get underneath there. You can probably see I've got new brakes fitted. That's coming in the next video. Kind of had to fast track that one because I had a light pop up on the dash. We'll get it lifted up onto those bricks and then start getting the diffuser changed. So after popping the car up on bricks for better access, I started stripping the old corners and diffuser off. It was a bit of a ball ache to get it off, to be honest with you. All of the clips were crammed with shit, and it didn't help that it was so cold, so, you know, there was no playing any of the plastic. But I got there in the end. The only bits of the original diffuser you want to reuse are the lenses and parking sensors if you have them, which I actually do, so I stripped them off and popped the first bit back on the car, which is a mount for those lens covers. There aren't any holes to drill or anything like that, you literally just screw everything together, so it's nice and easy. And once I'd fitted these strips underneath and the other side to mount the lens in, it was time to refit the parking sensors into the new Pro corners. Then I could whack them back on the car. Everything was nice and clean, so literally just flew together. I sanded the inside of the diffuser because I'm going to smear a layer of glue onto this little ledge that it's going to sit on, just to stop it from potentially rattling. And well, I'll hand it over to real life Luke now to show you around the finished product. In a bit. There we go. Look at that, completely transformed the back of the Mini now. The spoiler actually looks really good just by itself. I was considering getting this bottom bit wrapped because there is a tiny little bit of superficial damage there. You can't really notice it from 6 foot back. Pro diffuser looks awesome. The Pro corners on the rear are actually different when you order the sort of the diffuser kit. So just bear that in mind, because I did order these with the intention of ordering the diffuser later on down the line, and then it all comes as one. So I've got a pair of these for the OEM diffuser sat at home now, which I'll have to probably get rid of. But I'm well happy with the results. I think it looks great. Obviously we've got a few more bits inside. We have the seat delete and the seat covers on the back. And there was a couple of bits inside for storage and whatnot. The side markers look a load better, but I will do another walk around once we've got it lowered and we've got the new wheels on, because that's going to make a huge difference, I think, to just the stance of the car. Let me know what sort of front splitter you'd like to see on this. I don't know whether to just go for the Pro corners, the GP3 corners, or Mulgari Design do an awesome front splitter, and he's just added one with little winglets. I'm going to try and convince him to sell me that, but if he doesn't, I'll probably just be going for the corners and whatever. Don't really like the screw-on splitters on these. I like the ones that go around the bottom part of this lower grille. So I will have to try and find one that does that. And then we can get the front of the car looking as aggressive as it does at the back. Because I don't really think there's anything else to do to that now. I think that looks pretty good. Anyway, That's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, drop it a like and let me know what you'd like to see me fit next. You can always stick around and subscribe if you want. It doesn't cost a penny and it helps me out massively. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!